I've been climbing for 12 years, and in that time I've managed to climb up to 8C Sport Route. I have bouldered V11, and at the moment I'm training to climb my first V13, hopefully this summer. But honestly, I would be a much better climber, stronger and more consistent if I hadn't made these mistakes.
Nice!
Wow! Oh no! In this video, I'm breaking down the biggest errors I've made in my climbing journey so you can avoid them and progress faster than I did. Whether you're just starting out or chasing that next project, trust me, learning from these will save you a lot of time. It's basically everything that I wish I had known when I had first started climbing. I used to warm up like this, but now I warm up like this. When you're warming up on the climbing wall, it's not very safe because you might load your hands in like a dramatic way, which means that you could get an injury. Here it's super safe. I tend to start on the jugs or like the big edges. I hang there for around 10 seconds and then I have like 20 seconds off, and maybe I do this like 3 or 4 times, seeing how I feel. If I feel rough, then I keep my feet on the floor and I just weight my hands, and that warms them up nice and slowly. And then once I'm done, I also sometimes change like the grip types, like open 3 or back 3, which is really good for me because I used to not even be able to hang body weight off back 3. So the warm up actually helped me get stronger at that. And then when I'm ready, I kind of move to the crimps and the edges, hang there for 10 seconds, same as above, like 10 seconds on, 20 seconds off. And then I also change my grip types. And the reason why warming up on a fingerboard is good is, like I said, it's safe because you're doing static loads. So if you warm up on a crimp and you're climbing and your foot slips, you're going to load those tendons and that could cause injury. It also allows you to see how your body's feeling throughout the day. Like if I pull on these big jugs and I feel shit, then I know I might have a rough session. So I tend to warm up a bit longer. But equally, sometimes you'll feel rough on the fingerboard and have a great session. But it just kind of helps you be in tune with your body. Safe way to warm up, and plus when you've held some edges, it means that you're more warm for the wall, so that means you can like pull a little bit harder. And I find since warming up on the fingerboard, I tend to be a lot stronger in my sessions because I've actually pulled on some edges in like a safe manner, rather than just like camping or being like, right, I'll do one warm-up boulder and then I'll jump on my project. Every climber needs a good set of climbing clothes. Luckily, this video is sponsored by Rungna, who is Magnus's Mitbo's company. They make fantastic chalk bags, as you can see. This is mine, says Josh Rundle on it. Magnetic closure, it's been well loved and well used. Lovely zip. Normally there's a picture of Magnus in here, but there isn't this time. I'm wearing the Boulder Heads tee, which is one of my favorite t-shirts, so much so that my roommate stole one of them. And I'm wearing the harness pants. And you can get cheap clothes if you use my code JOSH, and you'll get 10% off anything in the Rungna store. PS, also the Magnus chalk is probably the best chalk you'll ever use in your entire life. The next tip is not only about climbing hard things, but it's also how to climb hard things quickly. I did this V11 the other day and I did it really quickly. And the only reason I did it quickly was because I was being super analytical. So we're gonna walk you through how I did this and use it as an example of how you can use being analytical in your own climbing, and it will help you climb harder climbs faster. So the first thing I do when I get to a boulder that I'm projecting, it's worth saying that the boulder needs to be hard for you, like it needs to be kind of at your upper limit. It doesn't have to be max, but just pretty hard. So I break them down into sections. So like for me, the first section, we have the starting holds, and then we're coming to here. This is probably the first section of moves. Oh my God, this is oh Christ. Okay, so that didn't work. That is like a wild swing that on my best day in my entire life, I'll never be able to hold that. The problem is that my hips were too close to the wall, which means the swing is just an absolutely obscene distance. But what I found when I was trying it was that we've got this lovely little bit of wall with a bunch of rubber marks that would bring my hips from here, or here, to like here. Like the swing is pretty much halved just by putting my foot here, and my bum comes out. And it makes that move from impossible to actually like not that hard. I don't think I actually ever fell off this move after I put my foot there. That might look like a very quick bit of footage, but I could have very easily been stuck on that move for an entire session. But because I was being analytical about how I was climbing this boulder, I stepped away, was like, right, what's going wrong? My butt's too far out, the swing's too hard. So then I thought about a way to rectify that, put the foot outside, Bob's your uncle, the move's pretty easy now, and I don't think, to be honest, I don't think I'd actually fall off that move. It's gone from a problem to being something that is now an easy move for me, which is basically what we're trying to do, but for the whole boulder. This section is the section that gave me the most bother, so I'm gonna try and do it now, if I can. As you can see, it caused me quite a lot of bother because you've got to be super tight on your feet, the heel can slip, and it's kind of technical, you've got to bend your body in really weird ways. The thing that I found on this bit, because I wanted to do it quickly, I didn't get too hung up on this section. I was like, right, I'm going to work the top and the bit that looks easier so I can get it dialed and do that. And then when it does come to doing this section, maybe I'll get through it and have a better chance of doing it because I haven't wasted basically loads of energy just like working one section. And that's kind of a sub tip, if you will, of how to climb things quickly. Don't waste too much time on things that you're really struggling with. Work the easy bits and then condense the time into working out that harder bit. I found that the sloper is just a little fiery ball of hell that I'll never be able to hold for the last move, especially when you're pumped. That was the way everyone else was doing it, so I was trying to copy them. But I actually found, when I did it, that it's better to go to the lower crimp with your left hand and jump to the last hold, which gets rid of a move and also saves energy. And for my climbing style, was way better. You'll have to take my word for it that it works because, I don't know, today it just feels a lot greasier. These yellow holes are always a bit greasy. So we've had a problem, we found it, we analysed a better way. Now we need to move on to that middle heely, weird, drop knee, funky section, figure that out, and then basically we can go from the ground already in what, like 4 or 5 pull-ons? And the good news is we've got lots of strength left because we haven't just like thrown ourselves at random moves and tired ourselves out. So there's still, I mean, of course I've already done this, but that means when I was trying it, there was still a chance I could do it that day. On my first day, I fell off the last move, and then I did a second session, and I did it third go because I had everything dialed. Oh dear. Okay, well, that time my left foot came off this hold. The heel was good. The way I think about that's best to do this is I could drop knee a bit more, but I don't think that's the problem. I think it is simply thinking about pushing on your feet more and putting pressure through. A lot of people, when they're climbing, they don't think about it that much, but sometimes, like when you grab a pinch, thinking about pinching makes the pinch better or makes you stronger. And it's the same with feet. Thinking about pushing through those feet kind of engages your legs a bit more, puts more pressure through them, and then it also means that they don't slip because they're slipping because I'm not pushing enough and I'm using my arms. Okay, well, I almost did that section. I just kind of like let my body sag a little bit at the end, but I was thinking about pushing through the feet more. Now I know I can do this section, but equally if I keep trying it, I'm just gonna run out of energy. It's kind of, so what I did when I was trying this, same problem on the day that I did it, I just like, right, I'm gonna try from the start. Because sometimes you have to take a bit of a risk if you wanna climb things quickly, because if you keep trying a section that you know you can do, you might get too tired. And often, I don't know if anyone else finds this, but I find I try a lot harder when I'm coming from the ground because I'm on for the ascent. So maybe you'll just try that little bit harder, that 1% harder, get through it and climb to the top. So that's what I'm gonna do now. Give it a go. I mean, obviously I have already done this boulder, but let's see if I can do it again. Heartbreaker. You'll have to take my word for it that I did the boulder. That last move is probably the hardest when you're a bit tired and they get a bit greasy. This hole is kind of warm today. So I took a risk from the bottom. The problem area was that weird heely section and managed to get through it. That doesn't always happen. Sometimes you have to revisit things and work them out. If I was going to try this, if I was trying this again as if I hadn't done it, I probably would be reworking the last move section more, because obviously it is causing me a bit of issues today. But that's it really. That's like the best way to climb a boulder efficiently. We didn't waste too much time. I still have plenty of energy to go try other blocks now, and I almost did it. The next tip is about everyone's favorite subject, grades. You've just seen me fall off the end of that very long V11 over there and almost did it. Well, I have done it, but just not today. And now I'm gonna get on my next project. Fuck. My cameraman has just been telling me every time I've pulled on this and fallen off it that it looks fake. I promise you, that was real. 100% not faking it at all. I've been trying, this is my second session on this, and I haven't been able to do it. And guess what? It's V5. It's literally over half the grade of that thing, which took me 2 sessions. I've had as many sessions on this. So the whole point of this is that grades don't necessarily make any sense, and don't get hung up on one specific one. You would kind of want to look at the trend over time rather than being like, oh, today I did this V7, but then I couldn't do this V4. This is a bit of a demi point from what we said over there. There are 2 types of people in this world. People who only try things that they can't do, or that are really hard for them, and people who never try things that they can't do. I am the one who only tries hard things, or at least I used to be. For example, I was obsessed with trying to climb my first AA route, and I managed to do it, but it turns out that I could only climb that one AA route, and I was pretty rubbish at every other type of climbing. So what you want to do is you want to build a pyramid. If you're someone who doesn't try hard things, don't forget pyramids need a point. And then people who only try hard things, don't forget you need a big base of climbing experience in your pyramid to actually be able to climb hard stuff. This is brutal. The previous tip was about your pyramids, and this tip is about what happens beyond your pyramid. Trying things that are way too hard for you or just too hard for you is something that every climber should do, and I see a lot of climbers not doing it. It teaches you valuable technique skills that you might not come across in your grades. It makes you think outside the box, because you're like, oh, well, if I can't do it this way, you might think of like some crazy beta that sometimes works, so you learn something. And also, if you want strength gains, going to your max makes you stronger. Simple, failing makes you stronger. Like most of my sessions, I spend failing. Very rare that I actually send anything, but that makes your muscle stronger, makes you stronger. And sometimes you'll surprise yourself, which gives you confidence to try harder things. So it's good to have that as well. And that's my sign off from that tip, because I've kind of run out of things to say about it, but it's good, you should do it.
Come on, Josh, we've got to film the next tip.
I am filming the next tip. I'm resting. That's right, you guessed it, the next tip is resting. When I first started climbing, I was obsessed with training. I would train like 40 hours a week, and I didn't rest. And then, finally, 10 years on, I was like, what would happen if I rested a bit more? Now I climb less than I've ever climbed before, and yet I'm probably 10 times stronger than I've ever been. So 10 times, that's a lot. Not quite 10 times, but I'm a lot stronger than I've ever been. So rest, that's it, just rest. I climb, what, 4 times a week, and I'm stronger than I've ever been. I used to train like 40 hours a week because I thought that's what pro climbers did. Don't listen to the pros all the time. Don't forget it's their job. Make sure you rest. And then you can have, when you do rest, it means that you have your session, because you're fully rested, is great. You can try 100% max, you get better training benefits. Anyway, leave me alone, I'm resting. And if you really want to get good at climbing, then the best thing to do is take performance enhancing, because if the tips don't work, that will be the